you are ready, I will take the time.
Hello Chefsters, my name is Mavi and I've been part of Chef since my freshman year. I've been an active member, the professional chair, and I'm actually the career fair chair right now. As Chef has grown, I've grown with it. It has been my platform to improve academically, develop my professionalism, give back to the community, and become the leader I am today. In return, I want to give to the chapter, develop the chapter by expanding our marketing. How are we branding ourselves? We need to better off in our presentations, our communication, and our use of social media. This in turn will allow us to have better relationships with our members, our region, and nationals. With better marketing, we can reach out to more sponsors. Sponsors that are smaller and local. Businesses that are trying to give back to our community. This in turn will allow us to have more resources to our members. With more sponsors, we can eventually have professionals get involved with the mentorship program, thus creating more member involvement, thus member retention. And also, eventually, using it as a platform to develop future leaders of our chapter. So now, here are the reasons why I feel like I could take Chef next year. I have developed quality work on all my projects. I have created relationships across the region and at the university. Also, I keep respect a top priority and time management skills. But above all, there's my passion for this organization and the love I have for my Chef Familia. So when you cast your vote tonight, think of me as I am ready to take Chef to the next level. Thank Mavi for Chef President.
What are the pillars of Chef?
We have academics, professional development, chapter development, outreach, and leadership.
Which one do you think needs the most work?
I want to say outreach in the sense that we need to reach out to not only our region but also nationally. We are the face, we're among the best student chapters, and we could help people improve. You know, we can be an inspiration to our members, to other chapters, right? This in turn will create more network opportunities for our members.
I have a comment about that. When you said outreach, are you talking about like outreach in terms of community outreach or in terms of regional?
Well, outreach is both regional and community. I am a believer that Houston has a lot to offer, and we have a lot to offer for Houston. Currently, we only have one Chef Junior, and I was actually surprised when I joined Chef because I never knew what Chef was. And the fact that I know that there is actually high school students that know about it makes me a little, oh, I want to, expand this also.
No, that's a good answer. I was just wondering what you meant by outreach.
Okay.
Thank you.
How would you look to expand the Chef Junior program?
How would I like to expand our Chef Junior program? Well, right now we only have one Chef Junior. But I believe that if we have more than one chair working on it, we could have multiple chapters. I personally think that maybe having meetings every 2 weeks is a lot. It can get overwhelming for kids, right? And for our students, especially because there's a big disconnection between high school and college. So I would be thinking more having big projects like Noche de Ciencias, but call it a little bit different in multiple high schools. So that way we reach out more, but then we impact stronger with less events.
Then that becomes less of a program, more of events that you do.
Well, yes and no, because it's not like you're not gonna, okay, for example, the way Chef Junior has worked this semester is that there was 1 week where we would go and do Chef Junior and the other we would mentor, right? So I think we can always keep our mentorship interconnected. In fact, we can even expand our mentorship program into a Chef Junior. The same way I want our professionals to be part of it, we can have a chain of reaction. That way, we are not only impacting ourselves, but we're also impacting the future.
Ozzy, you have a question?
How many Chef events have you attended the past year?
I want to say all of them except my favorite, which is Session Salsa.
So by that, how many Chef events has there been?
Well, we have chef meetings every 2 weeks. We have something called Girls and Guys Night Out. We have ESECO, which I help plan. I plan career fair. We also have events like with a mentor chef like the Christmas party, the posada. We've also had chef juniors. I've attended, not all of them, but most of them. Well, I've attended, I think, most of the Noche de Ciencias. I think I've been pretty active everywhere in the chapter. I've done every single pillar, and I'm ready to even expand it more.
So sticking with Chef Junior real quick, because I know it's a big asset, especially when you're talking about outreach. So when I remember you being a freshman going into Chef Junior, what do you see the biggest changes been from then to now? And if there is an issue, what do you think your opinion is on how to improve it?
Well, currently, I want to say that our Chef Junior is, okay, the way we structure it, or Ybor has structured it this year, has been that it used to be before that anybody can go to Chef Junior, and it used to be like, oh, maybe 20 of us, and then 5 of them. It might be overwhelming for them. So the way they worked it is so it's proportional to the students that they're going. So I like that because it gives more of a one-on-one interaction. What I would like to do better is to have a better connection with the school. Because sometimes, for example, on Noche de Ciencias, I was the speaker for the parents, right? And there was a lack of communication with the parents in the school. So there was probably like 4 families that went. So, we could reach out to more, especially if they have their kids there at that time at night, So I would say working with the relationships with the school.
Okay. Let's open it up to the audience. Does anyone have any questions?
So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Nick. So our communication with sometimes nationals, doesn't communicate well with us. Let's say it's a day before graduation and seniors, you still haven't gotten senior stoles. What is your action plan?
My action plans. Do we have them physically or do we have to distribute them?
We don't have them.
Well,
And then it's a day before graduation. So
Well,
tomorrow's
okay.
graduation.
one of the things is I don't know how official they have to be, but I'm a creative person. So I can make them, right? We can ask our Ybor to make them and actually make them a little bit more artistic, representing our chapter, representing what we stand for, making them feel connected, right? Because it's their pride and joy, and I want them to feel that way too.
One more question, Nelson?
So whenever I was on a U-board, sometimes we would get into a conflict with each other. How do you plan on resolving that conflict, let's say within your own e-board? And what do you think about conflict in itself?
Well, obviously nobody likes conflicts, right? But I do face it every day, right? As engineers, as someone who has worked in the Career Center, with professionals, with students, the best way to tackle a conflict is through communication. Trying to not only get your point across, but understand where the other person is coming from. And, compromising. That's a big, important part of resolving a conflict.
One more question? Previous presidents, do you have any questions? Jonathan?
So, what is the thing that you say is the biggest thing that this chapter is lacking, and how do you plan to improve it?
Well, okay, so when I started Chef, it actually took me a while to get involved with it, right? Chef used to be very small. It used to be this small little group of people. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how I actually got involved with it. It was a social event. It was Girls and Guys Night Out. And the thing with it was that I had to drive 2 hours to get to this place. Because I got lost, I had to pick up some people, but I was persistent. I wanted to make the effort to get involved. When I got to this place, there were so many girls already, the table was already packed. So I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to sit in a small little table. But what surprised me was that they actually opened it up. They even asked the waiter, no, let's open la mesa, let's make it bigger so we can, feel united. And I was like, oh, okay, awesome. But then they separated me with my friends. So my friends sat over there and I was sitting here and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna talk all night. And I love talking, so I need to make sure that I'm gonna, make friends, right? And it was not even, I didn't even have to make the first move. It was them I started asking me, hey, Mavi, so what are you doing? What's your major? And I could say Cindy, Monica, Mary was there. I think Evie and some other people that were already graduated. But what sold me, honestly, was the moment when they said, Mavi, would you like some sushi? You're sharing your food with me. So that means you're making me part of your family. That's not something everybody does, at least in my family. When you share food, that means that, there's a strong connection. And that's exactly how I want to make each of our members feel. Like, yes, I can share my food with you because I consider you part of my family.
So we ran against each other last year, and you were, but like even though you didn't get the nomination, you were very, you're a good. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like we hate each other or anything. But I do want to say let's say we were a member last year and we were trying to make a choice, depending on whatever choice we made. What's the difference between the Mavi that ran last year and this Mavi? Can you explain to us why you should get our vote?
Well, the Mavi before was someone who hadn't really had much experience with what e-board was. Yes, I was chair, I was the professional chair, but I was never really in some